Hello my friends, today we will discuss another password hacking technique. Now this technique is originally created to recover password once you forget it. But here we will take an advantage and hack the saved password remotely. Okay, so for this attack to work successfully, your target should be using Google Chrome and he should previously saved the login password once the Google Chrome display a bar asking if you want your password to be remembered. Now let me show you really quick what I mean here. So before we start, I just want to show you the Google Chrome version, which is 46. And as you can see, it's currently the latest one. Alright, so let me log into my Facebook account. Okay. So I'm gonna use my big tasty email. And the password. And this is what I'm talking about. So if our target has clicked on saved password, then we can grab that password remotely. And I will show you in a minute how to do so. So for now, just let me log out from Facebook. Okay, so I'm gonna open my PDF slides here. Okay, so let's get started by understanding how Google Chrome store and recover the saved password in the first place. So, first fact, we should know that Google Chrome uses the Windows login password as a key to do both the encryption and decryption phases. The second fact that we need to know that the encrypted password are stored in an SQLite database called login data and that database is located in this path here. Google Chrome call a specific Windows API function called encrypt protect data which utilize the Windows login password as an encryption key, and in reverse operation a Windows API called encrypt unprotect data is called to decrypt the password value back to clear text. So all in all, let's summarize how Chrome works in saving password. So let's assume that our target logged into Facebook for the first time. So Google Chrome will prompt him to save the password. And if he clicks on save password, then Google Chrome will take this password in a clear text format and will call encrypt protect data API, which will encrypt this password using the Windows login password, and it will save it in login data database. Later on, when our target visits the Facebook page one more time, Google Chrome will retrieve the encrypted password and it will pass it to crypt unprotect data API function. And after that, we will get the clear text password, then Google Chrome will submit it on your behalf. Now technically, if we code a Python script to grab the encrypted password from the Chrome database, and then we pass that value to crypt unprotect data API function, then after that we should be able to see the saved password in clear text. And that's exactly what we're gonna do over here. Okay, before moving to the coding part, let's have a look into the SQL database and I will be using a free open source database browser for the SQLite. So first, let me navigate to the SQLite, which gets created by Google Chrome. So this is the path that Chrome creates its database, and I will copy the login data. And let me change the extension to SQLite so we can import it in the database browser. Okay, so all what we have to do right now is to click on Open Database and go to the desktop, and this is the login data. Okay, so once we import it, you can see that there is a table called logins. Here it is. And once we click on browse data, we can see some interesting columns like action URL. So let me expand the screen here a little bit. Okay, so the action URL, which is the URL that the user navigated when submitted the login credentials, and here in our case it's a Facebook URL. The value or the username underscore value and the password underscore value, these are the values of the username and the password that have been submitted. Okay, so one more time to recap. First, we need to locate the SQLite database, as the username directory is a variable and will be different from PC to another. Tip is to grab the values of action URL and username value and the password underscore value columns from that database. Finally, we pass the password underscore value to crypt unprotect data function or API function to decrypt it back into clear text. So let's start with the coding part here. And we will start with importing the necessary libraries. So we will import the getenv or getenvironment to resolve Windows environment variable and find out the Google Chrome SQL path. So this is our step number 1, as we said. Next, we import SQLite 3 to read the Chrome SQLite database and fetch its raw values. Next, we import Win32 crypt, which provides a high-level library to call Windows API crypt unprotect data. Keep in mind that to use this library, we need to install first the Win32 library. Local app data is a Windows environment variable which points to C users, then username, then app data \local path, and that is the half of our full path. So once we got this part, all what we have to do is to append the second part of the path, which by adding \Google \Chrome, then user data default login data to get the absolute path of the login data database. If the target was logging into a site which has an entry into the database, then sometimes reading the Chrome database will return an error that the database is locked, and you will get an exception called database is locked once you run the Python script. In our example, if the target was logged into the Facebook at the time that we want to read from the Chrome database, then we won't be able to do that. The workaround for this is to make a copy of the login database and pull the data out of the copied database. So here the copied database has a name of login2, and it's located on the same directory of the original one. And at this point, we have accomplished the first step of locating the database. Okay, since the original database can be locked, we will read data from the copied database, and that will happen using sqlite.connect function pointing to the copied database path. Then we create a cursor object so we can execute SQL queries to pull out the desired columns. If you remember, the table name was login and it has three important columns, which are username and password value as well as the action URL. So we're gonna select these columns and fetch their value using a for loop with a fetch all function. The result will be a list stored in a row variable. Then we're gonna print the first two values in this list, which are the action URL and the username value. So by doing that, at this point, we have achieved the second step of our plan, and we grabbed the data out of a Chrome database. So this section is the phase number 2. So the last step is to call the crypt unprotect data API function and pass the encrypted password, which is, by the way, is stored in the third element of our row list. Last thing, we print out the result. Okay, so let me clear the screen here and let's run the module. And fair enough, we can see that we got 3 items: the URL, the username, and the clear text password. So let's try and double check that this is the correct credentials to log in into my Facebook account. So let me clear this one. So this is the big tasty. And let's try with the password right now, which we have recovered here. And fair enough, fantastic. We have logged into my Facebook account. Okay, right now let's give it another try with another website, and I will go for Twitter. So let me just move to the English. Okay, so I'm gonna log in. Okay, one more time, I will assume that our target has previously clicked on save password. So we got an entry right now in the Chrome database. Now let's go back to our script and run it one more time to see if we can recover the Twitter password. And fair enough, look at that. We got the URL, the username, and the password. Let's double check one more time that this is the correct recovered password. So I'm gonna copy the password here and log in. And fair enough, that's great. That's it for this video, and thank you very much for watching.